Right now we have another technical. There's my face now. I'm sorry to see that. Tonight, chaps, Darkside episode number 49. This one will be somewhat of an abbreviated. It's kind of an impromptu episode. Wasn't a lot of thick things to discuss. Sort of things fell in my lap. So I'm going to do a bit of an update of what's happening with chaps. I'm going to speak a little bit to some of the trends that are happening in the world of paranormal, and then I'm going to bring up Mr. Rife and his purchase of the Warrens. A lot of people came to me with this, wanting to know my opinion about it. I think I probably got like 60 emails about it and Facebook messages, whatnot. So anyway, going on with our team. All right, so it's been a bit of a quiet summer. This is okay. We did the Randolph in May with River Valley Paranormal researchers. Had a great time. Been quiet since then. I've got like pregnant daughters coming out the yin yang, having babies and having children being raised. 11 grandchildren will keep you busy. So we haven't had so much to do here over the summertime. Don't really investigate all that much. I think people are obviously at the cottage or at the trailer or whatnot. And to be honest with you, I don't want to be in an old abandoned home or hospital. 110 degrees and sweating just doesn't sound like my idea of fun. I do know that in September we've got a residential up in Petawawa. This is a past client we had about 10 years ago, and they want us to come on up there. We're going to get the residential done, and later on in September we're going to be back at the Sir John Johnson house. We've done a couple times before. This time round, we're going to handle this investigation I like what I call the unscience fair. A lot of people have gotten on my back and said that, I don't do things, interestingly enough, or I don't take certain methods into account, whether that be tarot cards or spirit boxes or the Obulus or the SLS. Basically anything that I've considered sort of crap from this point. I've decided that this time, because we've been there a bunch of times, let's do it all. So, we've got the Obulus apps, and we've got the spirit boxes, and we've got the Ouija boards, and we're going to have the little whirly lights and the machine that goes ping. And we're actually we're actually not going to pay attention to the way we do things traditionally. John Talon on our team had said, obviously, in our past, we've gotten a fair amount of audio result out of just having conversation. So, we're not going to do your standard investigation, right? Your standard methodology, your pragmatic side of things. We're just going to we're not even going to handle a camera person following us around to catch anything. We're going to put the cameras on tripods, let our DVRs do the work, and we're just going to sit around and shoot shit, right? We're just going to talk all night about unrelated topics and maybe see if Spirit there wants to jump into the conversation. We're going to be doing some outdoor investigation, which is never what we do because of the amount of contamination you have out there. Really, we're going to go for gut feelings, right? So this is kind of the way I see a lot of people, investigating, is by gut feeling. I'm even going to have I've got some investigators on the team that are kind of closer to the feeling aspect that I generally do tend to poo-poo. I do want to see what kind of evidence we can bring up, but this time, you know what, man, if you want to sit there and channel something, get your feelings out, speak about it, then that's what they're going to do. So it's going to be bizarro chaps that night. So when you watch the video, and I'm going to do obviously my pre-video chat, you're probably going to want to do what people do in the past. Sorry if I'm itching myself crazy tonight. I just seem to have an itch. People in the past have had virulent comments about us doing things off the mark of what we normally do. The whole hypocritical thing. So we're being hypocritical by design that night. I mean, maybe it's just everybody wants to have a chance to have fun, and maybe that fun will bring out the spiritual activity, right? Like, who knows? I haven't got so much boldness to say that I've been doing it right for 30 years. I'm going to say that maybe this is the right way to do it. It seems to be the trend that I'm seeing. When it comes to investigations nowadays, I'm going back to pragmatic videos don't really make interest, to be fair. They make good research videos, but they don't make good paranormal videos. I'm seeing lots of people out there that, frankly, like, if we might get 100 views on a video, they're getting 10,000 views, and really they're just the beautiful people, the pretty people, the personable people that use lots of personable toys and blitzed up cameras and fantastic apps that have got all kinds of little cartoon things in the back. They've got their, I don't know, whatever on their phone, their ghost cam, and all the shit that I don't touch, but they're the ones getting the attention, which is fine. That's what they're going to get, but they're unfortunately getting a crowd of people that say that these are this is what really is, like I'm saying it, this is the benchmark. Be this Sam and Colby. They seem to get millions of views. I've seen some of their stuff online. They're really personable. Like, I get it. If I was a 16-year-old girl, I think I'd want to watch them too. They create some fantastic locations, and I've actually seen some interviews with them on the side. That they take this seriously, but obviously production is one thing, and you've got people that are just better at that kind of stuff. Like, look at me. I don't even know how to look at my webcam to do this properly. Most of the times you guys are watching this podcast, you're seeing me looking down because I'm looking at the screen for comments coming up. Whereas I need to be focusing up here. But then again, I think they say on TV you're not supposed to look at the camera, so maybe I should be looking over here when I'm talking to you. Damn, difficult and hard is this. So, but there's the trends that's happening when it comes to research. It's gone back to the toys and gone back to the looks. Look, I'm seeing local people, even in the Durham region where I am right here in the Greater Toronto area, that are taken completely seriously by people that all you see is like model shots of them. But they swear they have a photographer not there to document the investigation. They're there to document them and how good they look. I couldn't look good if I wanted to. Like, I'm 5'5" little troll doll, right? I'm not going to look fantastic on camera. I'm a middle-aged man. So that time has passed for me. But hopefully somebody will watch what we do and see that there's some seriousness to it, with a little bit of joking aside, right? I try to keep it that way. I will say, pardon me, that we are looking actively for investigations. If you want your place investigated, you have concerns and or commercial places to do, or suggestions of places to do commercially, hopefully that aren't already over investigated. Problem is when you look at commercial places to investigate, generally you're going to get a list of the top 10 most haunted places. Not interested. I want like the odd hall or church or city hall or something in some little town, made of wood, looks like a cottage, that we can go do. And with a home, what we do is completely free of charge. We come there at our own expense to help you, maybe at the cost of a coffee. You want to put out snacks, that's fine too. Been all across Ontario and the States with this, and had a great time, helped out lots of people. So now we're looking to help you. Second to that, we're looking for investigators, but people that are serious about this. You want people that are willing to put the time, actually go over evidence, do the research, show up to an investigation, not just one that's 10 minutes outside their home. Unfortunately, that's kind of the regular thing now, is somebody will join a team like ours, and or guest on our team to start with, but they don't want to go outside of their city. And that's unfortunately not going to happen. For example, the gentleman that's doing my technical right now, Elliot from the Phantoms of Yore, a great team that we've, worked alongside. I guarantee you, he'll tell you that like the average drive for him to get to an investigation, sometimes it's 2 or 3 hours each way, and hotel rooms, shitty coffee, and all that. It's at your cost. So you got to be passionate about this. Terrible time actually getting investigators, because I think people think that you're going to get to a home and you're going to have a WWF fight with a ghost. It's nothing like it is on TV at all. Nothing. It is what it is. Yeah, that's right, Tina. Good to see you on here. Snacks are always appreciated. Most paranormal investigators aren't really good with their diet. We all have bad habits. Let's get real. I'll tell you what, if you're vegan, you don't drink coffee, you don't smoke cigarettes, and not all of you smoke cigarettes. I'm saying if you don't have one of these vices, paranormal investigation is probably not for you. If you had seen us at the Randolph the night before at the hotel, we weren't very professional. And that's okay. Because guess what? It's costing us a ton of money to be there. And we had a blast. There you go. Totally. At Twizzlers, I'm not a licorice guy myself. I'm kind of a chocolate guy, which is kind of dumb. But we have terrible habits. And we stay up too late, drink too much coffee, and then drink too much of other stuff that will affect your investigation the next day, make you tired. Here, a shout out to Tim Hortons. That was my corporate thing. I've never gotten a dime from Tim Hortons. We don't have corporate. No, there is no such thing as no to chocolate. So going on with that there, just in the whole trends, unfortunately, more teams that are kind of serious about investigation, we're sort of like well-known in different sectors, right? We have integrity and respect. We have respect of our peers, which is the most important thing to me anyway. But you're not overly popular, and you're not going to get a whole ton of people that want to do it, right? I have a lot of guys on my team that have been there for years and years and years and years. Take somebody like John Talon's been here 17 years on my team now. Same with Shan. My daughters are now involved with it. My kids who have grown up in it are now actively on the team. I know Abby is taking part in the procurement of things, and Fiona does my my social media, because you wouldn't leave that up to me. Trust me. The amount of talent for me it takes to make a bloody Instagram post with a crappy picture from my phone is that's a big deal. I was joking around with Elliot tonight about podcasts. I don't even know how to get the podcast from my phone to my Jeep. I want to be able to listen to one on the way into work, but I don't have my wife there to do all the gadgetry, right, to do it. So I go old school and just listen to the radio. So going to that lot there, we're basically going to go on to the topic that, I do want to announce that. So this is episode 49, right? I don't want to call it a place marker episode, but it's an episode that I wanted to lead up to the next episode, which will be September 25th. We love your team, Tina. Worth the drive to Arkansas, and we've been there, so we can say that. Jason Hawes will be on my podcast on September the 25th. So if you do have some questions that you want me to ask him, certainly message me, DM me, whatever, put it on the CHAPS board. I'm not going to say I'm going to say them all, because I'm not going to do questions that everybody would have asked him. I promised Jason that I'm going to ask him questions that he probably doesn't get asked. I want to be a little different about it, but I also don't want to be like, what about Zach Baggins? We're not going to talk about Zach Baggins. Nothing that's going to be like inflammatory. It's not going to happen. I can have my opinion about Zach Baggins. Why? Because I haven't got any money, so I can't be sued for anything, right? And I don't even have a public image, so I don't care. So that's it. So on the 25th of September, hope I got that date right. Jason Hawes will be on the podcast that night. Very happy. Episode 50. So right now, what I'm going to bring up is what 200,000 people have messaged me to bring up. This is Matt Rife and Elton Castee buying the Warrens' home and museum. See that? Yeah, I get what you get online, right? So I had heard Conjuring House, what everybody was saying to me. And I don't really get into the hype of a lot of this stuff. So I was mistakenly calling it they're buying the Conjuring House, but it's not. It's the Warrens' home and their little museum. Okay? So let's get into something about the Warrens first. So the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine, have had this place since the 50s, right? When they started New England Society for Psychic Research. Ed and Lorraine have been a fixture / big deal in the world of the paranormal for a pretty long time. Like long enough that, side note, I grew up in the spiritualist church, right? I grew up in the church full of psychics and mediums. Plays no part in my life right now, but I grew up in it. My mother warned me about Lorraine Warren when I was a kid, right? She had dealings with Lorraine. I mean, they had the whole demon thing going on. The Amityville case they were involved with, the Enfield case. So they have a number of well-known cases that got very dramatic. And certainly, if you think about the 50s and the 60s in the world of the paranormal, anything was going to be like, holy shit, look at that story, right? The Amityville horror, the Amityville story was blown well out of proportion from the original story. And a lot of this sometimes would have something to do with the Warrens. If there was anything they were very good at, was marketing themselves, right? So you know what I mean? Like, again, Lorraine supposedly was certified by UCLA as a psychic medium and transvoyant a whole bit. How you get certified and that kind of stuff, but even then UCLA says that it never did happen. Yada, yada, yada. Years later, right? They get themselves some notoriety because of some of these big cases. And unfortunately, there was really not a lot of proof to what they were doing. And they have this awesome little museum. Like, if you want like a Chotsky museum, that's fine, with haunted items. The Annabelle dolls in there. Annabelle, I mean, there's a movie, there's a whole bit made of it. And, we had, Dan Rivera, who was in possession of the Annabelle doll during the tours, having a heart attack in Gettysburg. I don't know if that's anything to do with related. I doubt it very much. I've never really been big into that, whether you call it a psychometric reaction, attachment syndrome, haunted items, the idea of like, hey, this used to belong to my grandmother. She had an apple back in the 40s. I feel, a lot of anger and hate. Look, I grew up in the psychic church. Again, I watched people make money out of grabbing things and giving you a little story about what's behind it. So I don't know too much about that, the whole attachment syndrome. They've got, a haunted rocking chair in there and all kinds of that shitty stuff. Pardon me. So now with Matt Rife buying this, he wants to turn this into like some kind of haunted Airbnb, ghost tours, renting the place out, which I'm quite sure will be ridiculously expensive and probably booked up for 3 or 4 years. I'm not looking to do this place. It'd be over touristed to hell, and frankly, none of the places that we've done that have been overly marketed have been anything worth it. I mean, some of them, I guess, like West Virginia Penitentiary is cool, but we did actually get some evidence there. But there's definitely more spots that we've investigated that are nothing, right? Just a mild fracas, right? But the whole thing with Matt, I mean, it's going to turn into a tourist gong show. I mean, the fact that Matt was associated with Zach, he was on Ghost Adventurers, right? Matt is an avid horror fan and a paranormal enthusiast. And there's nothing wrong with being a paranormal enthusiast. There's nothing wrong with touring the world. I mean, the guy's got lots of money. He's a good-looking lad. He's funny, right? Very personable. His crowd work is really great. So, of course, people are going to flock to that. It's when, Zach Baggins refers to him as a seasoned investigator. So, kind of what I'd like to ask the question out there is, and like I take umbrage with the term seasoned investigator. Like what, like junior investigator, experienced investigator, seasoned investigator. What denotes what? How are you seasoned? Because some people have been investigating for, I don't know, 30, 35 years, and they've done 5 investigations. Are they a seasoned investigator? Some people have investigated for 2 years and have done 20 investigations. Like I say, Fiona and Abby, my daughters, they've been exposed to this since they were very young. Call me a bad parent, whatever. But even since like 13 and up, like each one of them have done multiple investigations over the years, and I put them to the test. So I'd say that they're experienced investigators. I don't know if I'd give them the seasoned yet. So I don't know how that works. Like, what do we think? Do we think that how long, and this is where I welcome your comments, if you don't mind, how long and how many investigations should you be doing to be considered seasoned? And like, you think there's a possibility that Matt Rife is truly a seasoned investigator? This is when you comment. Because I don't particularly, I mean, he's 27 years old. I guess there's a good chance that he's been out to a lot of locations. Guy's rich, been around the world, right? But I can't see where he'd be any more than a tourist. Like, I don't know where his schedule would allow him to actually investigate. Even like where I look, I'm going to say Zach Baggins, right? When Zach Baggins does a place, I don't know what his actual schedule is. Like if you ask me about Jason Hawes, I can tell you that like their show, right? There's the show, and then there's the investigation prior to and after, right? So I know that there's several days and hours of investigation to a place before production takes part. I don't know what Zach's is. He's obviously been to hundreds of places. I forget what season they're in right now. So I'm going to have to say that Zach, I guess I could call him seasoned for his style of investigation, but I think he's got a different mindset. Like every place that Zachary, I call him Zachary Baggins. Every place is haunted and every place has got a dozen EVP. But he used those ridiculous toys that we're going to use in a few weeks. And well, it doesn't really come up with the product that I want. I like some of the people around his team. I like Aaron. Aaron seems pretty cool. When Nick was involved with the team, I liked him. Nick was a nice guy. And I liked the first 2 seasons of Paranormal Lockdown until they got into toys again. I can take an appreciation with a lot of teams out there, but I don't know like who's seasoned. Like Matt Rife, I just don't see a season. This Elton Gasti or Casti or whatever, he's an online influencer, a YouTube content, obviously richer than anybody, but I have no idea who he is. I try to look up exactly what he's known for, and I still can't get that answer. So I don't necessarily think he's seasoned. Maybe different if I sat down and talked to Rife, but I think probably Matt Rife is probably a little more involved with just the world of horror and the coolness of some cool places. I don't see Matt Rife doing a residential investigation. Yeah, Kevin, I agree with you. There you go. From what Elliot says, you know what I mean? Like he's tagged along. I'm going to give Rife the benefit of the doubt that he's probably been to a few places, done his independent tours and research. You know, I mean, the guy's got a wild ass schedule. I work full time, and I hardly have the time to get out and do it anymore. So I don't know how he's doing it. That's why I say that. And Kevin, you're right. I guarantee you've been on over 100 investigations because you've done probably 100 investigations with us. And I don't care for the seasoned word. I guess maybe I consider myself an experienced investigator. I'm definitely an opinion investigator. I think I've got enough experience to have developed an opinion. Seasoned, like Ed Warren, I would say would be a seasoned investigator. Not in the direction I would take things. He definitely was when he died in 2006, but he's definitely a seasoned marketer. And him and Lorraine knew how to market themselves, right? And they've got a legacy in John Zaffis as well, because they're all, that's part of their shtick. I'm not gonna say shtick; it's their thing, their methodology. They're into the association of items. I'm not. I'm just not. Like, I just don't see the idea that I could turn around and grab that Yoda doll back there. Sorry, it's not Yoda, it's Grogu, and I'm getting feelings off of it. It's been in my office for a couple of years now. Maybe it would get my eminence, my sensations on it, but no, I don't think so. Pick up a piece of jewelry. When I was with the Spiritualist Church, we call it psychometry, and I tried to bullshit it too back then, right? And I'm sure that, and to any psychics out there, I can out bullshit what you're doing because I can see what bullshit you're putting on. Clients have asked me to do psychic readings and whatnot, and it's just not that hard if you know how to read somebody. So psychometry, these are the feelings I'm getting on it. Very generalized, play to the person's personality. Use you're a hard worker. Well, who's going to say that they're lazy, right? Yada, yada. It's just shit. So this plays to the sensationalistic side of paranormal investigation. So, now we got to play to Zach Baggins, Ed and Lorraine Warren. This lot of people that find things that give you immediate satisfaction. When I first started investigating, I'll be the first one to admit, man, as soon as you put on night vision and you started seeing all that dust flying around, holy shit, did you want that to be haunted so bad, right? So we did. We lost our kittens in like 3 investigations. And then we started experimenting with it on camera and would rather prove why it wasn't. Some teams don't go that way. Even I'm okay to audit myself. I'll go back over, I think we did this the other night. My daughter was here and we were on YouTube going over investigations from like 15 years ago. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, that audio file sucks. I would have never accepted it now, right? So it's okay to eventually become more of a hard ass. I've gotten in around the 500 range for investigations. I'm peppered. I'm not seasoned. I'm kind of like unidirectional. I'm one spice, right? Whether that be crabby, bitchy, old man, whatever you want to call it, that's what I am. But I'm not quite as open-minded yet because there are things in the world of investigation that I could learn. And I still do. I still see new teams doing things and go, damn it, we really should be maybe looking towards that. Different ways of, I am spicy. Different ways of enterprising the team. I'll look at, honestly, like I'm a pretty staunch, hard-ass guy. Very quick to opinion. Elliot from Phantoms of Yore, who's doing the production, he's behind the screen right now. He's a lot lighter-minded than I am. He's a little more liberal of thought. And there's been a lot of times that I'll do a rant and just let up a blue streak, and he lightens things up. You gotta stop thinking that way, Dave. This and that. And look, I got 20 years of age on him and all that, but yet it's okay to look at somebody and go, you're right. And it's been I've changed a lot when it comes to that. Working with the guys from CHAPS, my audio presentation was different. Working with CPRI, my data collection is different. RVPRI questioned the way I was questioning things before. It's okay to get self-audited. Really got off track there. We're going back to the thing. I don't think whatever is happening with Matt Rife it's going to amount to a lot of money. But as far as the seriousness goes, so that's that. Not a lot of commentary about it. I wanted to have this podcast tonight just to remind everybody we're around and to look at September 25th to have Jason Hawes on the show. I do want to thank those who shared the show. I want to thank those who took the time to come on and put up with me, even though I didn't have Fifi here to like sarcastically make comments at me every 2 seconds. So that's it. That's all I got tonight. I said it was going to be a redacted episode. Always for the support of CHAPS and the Darkside. We will see you the next time.